This week in league, coronavirus shows a new symptom, turning rugby league journos from fuckheads who say dumb shit about footy into fuckheads who say dumb shit about finance.
DCE looks to millennials to boost his popularity by demanding more money for doing fuck all.
Disgraced Bulldogs duo sacked after the club elected not to send them into their North Queensland WITSEC program.
Plus, we forge ahead with all the news from NRL Lockdown 2020.
All that and more this week in league. Welcome to episode 344 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And we are doing this one for the first time ever. This is the first ever remote locked down version of the show in its history.
Wow.
Like, we've had situations where Glenn couldn't do it for whatever reason, and usually those times it was like the first time I think he was doing Kokoda and a bunch of other shit where he wasn't actually even able to do it anyway. It wasn't just a matter of not being able to come over. And in those cases they were guest hosts, and then it became a matter of just guest hosts whenever we were doing it. And so for the first time we're actually due to the coronavirus lockdown and complications.
So we are socially distant.
We are socially distant. We are not, 1,500 mil away? We are 15 minutes drive away. And so we'll see how this fucking goes. But
who came up with that fucking term? Social distance.
It's just, it's one of those wishy-washy. It's one of those wishy-washy fucking phrases that they use that doesn't actually mean anything. And it's probably directly responsible for death, because at the end of the day, if you just said from the very start, stay 2 fucking meters away from anyone that you don't live with. Yep. That's a really clear directive.
Yes.
For people to follow. But when you use like a wishy-washy social distance, I mean, it's open to interpretation.
Yep.
And then so, some people like the, social distance is being 1.5 meters or 2 meters or 2 arm lengths or whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. But then for other people, social distance is like that video we saw earlier tonight where a guy had his dick tied up so tight that it was like got super big and fat, like, probably the diameter of a fucking, like a 2-liter Coke bottle. And then another guy fucked him in his pee hole. I swear to God, that's like a video the level of the ones that you usually throw in the chat. I can't believe you got fucked. That's probably beats the one with the guy fucking the Japanese chicken and nipple. But
let's send that one to a vote.
Yeah, let's send that one to our members.
That's it. Overall, I'm fairly impressed with most people during this lockdown.
I'm impressed. I'm becoming more impressed. It's taken a little while for people to get the fucking point, I think. But now they're at a place where I think they understand, by and large, and they recognise the situation, and they're doing the right thing about it.
Yeah.
By and large, like I actually saw the shops the other day, and it was like a fucking ghost town in the car park. So like as I drove past there, and I thought, okay, well that's good. That's better than it was last time when it was fucking business as usual.
Yeah, spot on. It's been a really fucking interesting trajectory, and one thing that it's brought to light, and this comes to light every little while, but now I don't want cunts to get too fucking ragey at this, because you're going to get ragey when you first hear it. The only reason you'll be ragey is because it actually, resonates with you, but not in a great way. Australians' default personal position is that we are, by and large, generally absolute fucking trash. And
I would rather than trash, I would say cunts.
Yes. And at the beginning of any crisis, the fucking trash shines through. What we are good at, though, is the longer a crisis goes on, is slowly folding our trash back up and keeping it back into that hidden compartment.
And looking outside of our
that we all, and just going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to punch anyone for fucking triple ply today. I don't need to run over people in the car park to get my fucking sanitizer. So I think next time the crisis comes out, whoever's in charge needs to get on top of it quickly and just say, this is not a crisis, however, it's bad enough to fucking put limits on all your shopping, because we know that we're going to go for the fucking dunny paper first of all.
Yeah, I don't think that dunny paper thing is avoidable, unfortunately, because like now it's fine. Now the shops are fine.
Yeah, but you know what else is happening in the shops?
Because they realise that they've got more toilet paper than they can ever wipe their and their fucking great-grandchildren's assholes.
Like, I was in the supermarket today, and I got to the end of an aisle, and there was an elderly lady crossing my path.
Yeah.
And so I gave her the universal motion for, no, please, after you, which was the wave of the right hand, palm facing upwards, extended away from the body. And she looked at me and she said, no, you've got a little one. Please go first. And we had a lovely exchange.
Fucking pussy-ass supermarket that was.
And I said, no, please, I insist, by turning my hand over and pushing my palm downwards. Then she went and we were all on our merry way. We're now overly fucking polite. We now live in the fucking Stepford Wife area.
Yeah, well, you might be so. She went to the supermarket and someone got right up pretty much in her face like regular time supermarket traversal.
Oh, no.
And she sort of gave them the look and she sort of was like, keep the distance.
Yeah.
And the response was, it's a fucking supermarket, love. What do you expect?
Yeah, okay.
So let me just say that I think that, I mean, Australians in their brain want to think we're, I am, you are, we are Australia, hug and tug bullshit. But in reality, we have shown in this particular situation at the default position as every man for themselves, and then it's then we kind of wake up to ourselves and like,
yes,
look at us. We catch a glimpse in the mirror as we walk past.
Yes,
and then we start to fucking chill again. But you know what? If this happens in 2 years' time again, I guarantee you that Quilton's going to be fucking nowhere to be found for 2 or 3 weeks
exactly.
again, because cunts cannot fucking remember. And I'll just do the same thing again. But at the moment, it's okay. Fucking petrol today was cheap. Finally, they're passing on the... problem is, I'm not driving anywhere. My tank is on full bars, and it has been for the last 4 or 5 days. But, yeah, petrol's fucking... Like, I saw the E10 for like 88 cents at Costco down the road, and diesel was like $1.08.
Fuck.
That's the fucking cheapest I've seen diesel.
There you go.
This like a long time, man.
This week in consumer affairs.
Yeah, this week in telling it how it is in the coronavirus thing, let's get on to some actual... first thing I wanted to do, actually, is take a couple of moments to recognise some milestones within the community. Firstly, as we record today on Wednesday, the whatever. What is it? It's fucking April Fool's Day. Isn't that hilarious? Kyle, OG Kyle, the original Gronk of the year, the very first Gronk of the year, it's his birthday today. April 1st. And that's the story of how April Fool's Day got its name.
I was about to say, well done, you just managed to not fucking die for another year. But then if you listen to the members podcast, you would actually appreciate it.
Yes, exactly. So, but speaking of people that we appreciate not dying, though, two guys that we go long way back with, James, who people in the Facebook group would know particularly because he mentioned it in the group the other day, and Ian, who he's one of the people I go back the longest with on Twitter, both got the okay that they have defeated cancer this week.
Fucking good shit.
So top notch, boys. Fucking great job. Great job. And showing that manly spirit and not that dragon spirit, I suppose. Anyway.
Hang on. Luke Lewis got over cancer.
Did he though? Did he?
Yes, he did.
I bet that he could run length of field intercept tries before cancer. So I put it to you again. Did he?
Well, he got over it. He didn't annihilate it.
He didn't die.
No, that's it. That's what we're celebrating.
Okay. And more on Luke Lewis later in the episode.
Really?
Yeah. Part 2 of the commenter on the website. To be continued. News this week, though. We had a news story that doesn't involve journalists being cunts is that Jaden Ockenbaugh and your favourite and mine, Corey Harawira-Naera, have had their contracts deregistered by the NRL over their off-field behaviour during the club's pre-season game in Port Macquarie, aka fucking school children. And that sounds terrible when you say it like that, but
it's what they did.
Yes. They issued show cause notices last month after Canterbury reported concern over the misconduct, and a statement from the Bulldogs chair Lynn Anderson, CEO Andrew Hill and coach Dean Pay said the club fully supported the club's deregistration. Todd Greenberg said the NRL's decision to tear up their contracts sent a clear message on the game's expectations of its players. The behaviour of both players was inexcusable and a very serious breach of the code of conduct, he said. The game will not tolerate such conduct, and as such, both players have had their registrations cancelled. So... Look, honestly, I feel like it was probably the only course of action, and the only reason it kind of didn't rear its head earlier was because the Rona came in and took a lot of the focus of the entire world off these things, and while that could have worked out in their favour, I think this was probably the only realistic outcome, which is unfortunate for the Doggies and the Doggies fans because... As I've stated, I sincerely do believe that they would have won that game against the Eels if they had Corey Harawira-Naera out there on the edge.
Yep.
That was basically the difference in the reason why they couldn't score any points or any tries. And Ockenbaugh,
he was another one that came in and doesn't change the fact. Doesn't matter who you are, don't fuck school children. But he came in and simply because. He was tall, had dark skin, and dreadlocks in his hair.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, and that's the standard NRL system. With who do you look like? That's who you're the next of.
Yes.
So he was touted as the next Idris, but probably had an unspectacular.
He had some great times, but he had some very, very average times as well. But Harawira-Naera, on the other hand, was fucking tremendous.
Yep.
And he was an instant difference maker in the Dogs last year, and there were several games that he won or kept them in single-handedly.
Yes.
Like, literally single-handedly. So big loss for them, and maybe one day we'll see them back. But yeah, it's kind of hard to see like what steps they could take to convince the hierarchy that they have. Yeah, what steps they could take now to get back in that they wouldn't have tried to, commit to now to save their position.
Yeah.
So.
Look, the obvious one is good old Darius Boyd and a version of depressed lamatic immunity.
Yeah, I think that would have gone in the show cause thing, and also.
No. But I'm saying a version, not to say I was depressed, but to say that I was suffering from this mental condition called fucking barely legalitis.
They could have gone to like masterclass.com and done a course, like Roman Polanski shows how to not fuck children or something, and done that course. They get they get a little certificate at the end of it saying they completed that course, and they're going, okay, well, very well then. You've
Trouble is Ockenbaugh accidentally goes to blasterass.com.
Also, it's very. I mean, with the way that the Instagram or DMs and everything being released as they were.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
an ordinary picture of which, so I don't know if there's a way back.
No, but that's what, in terms of a way back.
Yeah.
If they're able to say, well, okay, I had this condition and it caused me to do this, and I've now taken 2 years and I've seen this specialist and they've worked with me and I've done this and I've done this community service and da-da-da. Yeah. That's about, I think, the only feasible way back. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Tell you what, though, Bulldogs players can fucking ruin a career.
Oh, can they what?
Can they ruin a career? And like, I look forward to, if they can, if there is any possibility of re-registration, one day, I'm looking forward to Harawira and Naira going under the tutelage of Desi and getting fixed out. And I think that it would serve him very well to remember that Manly are undefeated in child sex fucking court cases, and hopefully he can rejoin the NRL one day after he's paid his penance and achieve his full potential under Des Hasler at a rock bottom price of about $150,000 a year would be just perfect.
Yes.
What do we got here? Okay, the NRL's agreement with the RLPA is set to be sealed after Todd Greenberg has agreed to take the same pay deal as the players. So they held talks on Wednesday, which I believe is today, and the governing body said the deal is expected to be finalised shortly after further consultation with players. The RLPA were presented with a revised proposal from the one we mentioned last week, including an amendment to the players' retirement fund. He's elected to take the same pay as the players in the wake of the competition being suspended. Greenberg said, "I want to acknowledge the players for their cooperative and collaborative approach to these discussions. As I've said from the beginning, we're in this together, and so in the spirit of our partnership, I've offered to take the same salary deal as the players. To me, it's the best and most sincere way of reflecting my appreciation of the way these discussions have been handled." Look, and it is a nice, warm and fuzzy sort of way to, like a gesture. You know what I mean? To sort of smooth things over for the more difficult Gronk side of the parties. We were talking before we recorded the show, and it's just like the way the media have fucking behaved is so transparent in this process. I mean, any News Limited and Channel 9 related or aligned news sources are just so absolutely suspect, because their end game is so obvious, and with Channel 9 especially, threatening, they're not going to pay this or they're not going to do that. I would like to hope that the NRL has a long fucking memory, and and next time the rights deal comes up, they pretty much disqualify any of these cunts who've tried to sink the boot in while they're down. Yeah, disqualify them from even bidding.
Yep, 100%.
And then we'll fucking see, because it was only last week we were talking about the top two rated television shows of the year are the two Origin games.
Correct.
And then you got the grand finals up there, and then Origin 3 is not far behind, and then this is far, and so it's incredibly short sighted and manipulative of Channel 9 to try and act like, and Foxtel to act like the NRL is not the provider of the large portion of their subscriptions and viewerships.
There's a couple of things to unpack here, and I'd like to try and get to them all in order if we may.
Go.
So we'll start off with the
Greenberg. All night. Let's go.
Start off with the Greenberg thing.
Yes.
Now, you and I have never purported to be fans of Todd Greenberg as a person.
I remember when a listener of the show did actually created a song. They composed a song and performed it on guitar and vocal, called "Todd Greenberg is a Low Life Piece of Shit," which was so named and lyrics inspired by things I'd said about him on this very show.
Exactly.
No, I've never been a fan, never will be a fan.
And in terms of this situation here, it blew up when, fuckhead deluxe BJ Leilua, who has just...
For the second time,
He is.
Remember, he said something He said something about 2 weeks ago, didn't he?
He did. Well, what we have is before worst centre performance in history and after worst centre performance in history, BJ. And funnily enough, he didn't actually change his position, and I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing. But he's come out and said that he doesn't understand that if the players have to agree to a 75% cut, why do the executives at headquarters not have to do that?
Yeah.
Now, on the surface, that sounds like a very simple and a very reasonable thing. However, if you only ever look on the surface and just take everything as reasonable as it sounds, then you're as much of a fucking frittata as BJ Leilua is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, what I'd like to know is how BJ gets to training. Does someone drop him off, or does he drive? Now, if he drives, I'd like to know if his house is in a straight line from the training ground, because I find it impossible to see how he turns corners with both hands firmly on his fucking cock. He's looking at the players had that 75% pay cut on the proviso that there were no more games played.
Yes.
Now, if we were in a situation where the rest of the fucking world was carrying on as normal and it was just the NRL for whatever reason, let's say there was a fucking groundbreaking lawsuit and something happened and they couldn't do the rest of the season, or all of the fucking turf in Australia got some turf fucking disease and they couldn't play on it. Fair enough, right? But the whole fucking world's impacted here.
Yeah.
Now, BJ, this is what a fucking renegotiation looks like. You've got a certain amount of money there and you need to redistribute it based on the work that people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the player's taking a 75% haircut for zero work, right? And let's say that again, zero work.
Mm-hmm.
Greenberg, for all his fucking faults,
he's still working this entire time.
He's showing up and is intending to show up for the remainder of the season. He would still be performing 100% of his duties, right?
Yeah.
So they
arguably more than 100% of his regular duties, because this is such a fucking extraordinary time to be trying to guide things through.
Exactly, 100%. Now, that equation then becomes they're getting 25% for doing no more work.
Yep.
And he's getting 75% for doing more than 100% of usual work.
Because, I mean, he would be doing more than 100% anyway, because they've had to stand down a high percentage of their head office staff as well.
But this is happening in almost every company or every organisation across the country.
Yes.
In every organisation across the world almost, people are looking and saying, okay, this is our workforce at the moment. This is what we do. This is our business. And these are the things we can't afford to get rid of. These are the things we can trim down. This is how much money we have left to operate.
Yep.
And everyone's trying to fucking work out that equation. You'd hope that they're all doing it worldwide to save as many jobs as they can, but let's be frank, they're probably doing it to impress shareholders where possible as well. Yep. It just, to me, reeks of fucking that lowest common denominator idiot mentality of just going, I'm taking 75%, why doesn't he get 75% as well?
Yeah, but I mean, it's also, I mean, rugby league today is not the same rugby league that it was 20 years ago, where there were actually like some fucking optometrists and things like that running around on the field. Now you don't don't dedicate yourself to that level of academic excellence because of the increased demands of physical excellence and athleticism that the sport requires to play it at the highest level. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, if you before the last week or so, if I had have said to you, mentioned BJ Leilua and the phrase that what we've got here is a failure to communicate, you would have thought I was talking about him and Nofaluma.
Yes,
but no, it's just it's
yeah.
It's
That's
fucking
it.
BJ's fucking brain and his disconnected mouth.
Although, and you know what? Maybe I am being harsh on him. Maybe he's realised that game that he was in, being the last game of the season,
yeah.
that may be the performance that dictates what his next contract's worth.
Yeah, especially, I mean, like, who knows what happens with contracts after this year, whether they need to be renegotiated. Because, I mean, I did see something through the week saying that, the sport the entire game needs a restructure, and they're looking at, a shaving of like 40% off across the board, like going forward, like, you know what I mean? Like actually reducing player salaries overall, which is, I don't know. I've seen a lot of dumb fucking ideas this week.
Yes,
that we'll get to. I mean,
so
I guess people's mileage may vary, but great. I like the things coming out of Greenberg and Clint Newton, and they seem to be, and also like the non fuckhead players. Like did you see Joel Thompson's tweet today about BJ?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see him as well, just saying, look, don't listen to this guy. Everyone's in it together. Everyone wants to, we want to have a game for the next generation of people to play. We're all doing the best,
But to his credit, was classy enough to not smack him down. Like he didn't say back off, fuckhead.
Yeah.
And he pretty much said no one person's bigger than the game, which is 100% right.
Yep, exactly.
And this is the thing. No one's irreplaceable. And I keep hearing fucking BJ, there's no game without the players. There's no game without the players.
I've come up against this fucking bullshit every time a player goes to rugby.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, what are we going to do? Israel Folau's going to play AFL. What are we going to do? Carmichael Hunt's going to fucking play fucking AFL or whatever. And, this cunt's going to go and, he's going to go over and play, rugby in France or some shit. Like,
get
the fuck out of here. The game has never suffered for one fucking minute.
Yeah.
Due to the absence of a marquee player who's gone to another fucking sport or whatever.
But do you know what
happens? For a minute.
Do you know what happens, though? If everyone in the NRL now fucks off, if every player that's currently playing, and this is just my prediction, turns up and says, no, because of this, we're not playing anymore, all our contracts are voided, so you can't hold us to anything, we're all going to go and fucking, I don't know, get our fucking pinkies stuck exploring each other's prostates.
Yeah.
You know what happens? They get all the fucking juniors and resis, and they go, fucking congratulations, you're all first graders.
Mm-hmm.
You all get 150 grand a year.
Yep.
Fucking clubs, bring your own juniors up. If you can't get enough, we'll talk about swapping them around. Congratulations. You're the first of the new fucking generation. And you know what? The quality in that competition isn't to the elite standard that we're used to for maybe 2 years.
Yep.
But fuck me, it's not going to turn me away from my team.
No.
And you deal with that, and then every year as a new crop of juniors come through, you're slowly building on the talent pool,
Yep.
That's what happens. So fucking BJ, if the current players left, there is a game without the players. I'm sorry to fucking say that. Now, I don't think the NRL should fuck anybody over. But dumb cunts like him, and let's be frank here, spurred on by the dumb cunt media.
Yeah, and this media they can say what they want about loving the game and the rest of it. They love the fucking chaos because it's making them money on clicks now.
Yep. And
it's gonna, if they get their way, it's gonna save them money or save their employer money.
It's
down the line next time they, want to try and negotiate for the rights of to broadcast the sport.
They're not even trying to fucking hide it anymore.
No, they're not.
I've seen on the fucking Fox League site. You go and have a look on there, and there's Mark Guy names his team of all-time greatest Panthers, and then in all caps, and there's one shocking omission.
Yeah.
And then a couple of stories down, Gordon Tallis names his fucking all-time Broncos team.
You'll never guess who he left out.
No. Just in all caps. And there's one shocking omission. They're legit not even fucking trying to hide it.
Yep.
Which brings me on to the next point. All of these fuckhead journos going on about the NRL and their mismanagement of finances.
Yeah.
Right? And in that mob, especially I'm going to fucking throw shit at that bald cunt Hooper and Garden Gnome fucking Kent for their absolutely retarded assessment of the situation. Both of them have gone on about how the players should be so angry with the NRL about the mismanagement.
And like we went over that to a large extent last episode as well. I mean,
yes.
But the fact that these absolute inbreds can continually fill up column inches with the assertion that the NRL is the only business in the world that should be held to account for the way they didn't plan for a fucking unprecedented pandemic.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely fucking it's ridiculous. But then when you look at all of the like you were saying about those other articles, like they're not even trying to hide it. Like these are guys that are making they're employed on the back of the sport.
Yeah.
Yet they are openly enjoying themselves, shitting all over it.
Yes.
At the time when it makes me grateful for the NRL.com site where sure every third article is an interview with an old timer or it's like a classic game from something or other, but at least when they put a news article up there, it's actually fucking news.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not some sort of hit piece from a new angle,
But this all came from, and again, it stems from this fucking current journalistic trend to need to be first rather than be right.
Yep.
So earlier in the week, there was a conference hook up with people in person, people over the phone as well, between headquarters, both with old mate Volandius, Mr. Rugby League himself, Greenberg, and probably others from headquarters, and the RLPA, and a bunch of its representatives, including people like Wade Graham was apparently involved, and your fucking mate Cucky Evans was there as well, and the first reports that came out was about how ropeable the players were with the NRL for the mismanagement of the finances, and they were so angry, and they were considering their legal options.
That was actually the headline though too. That was what the headline was. And the story itself though was nothing like that anyway.
Well, see, the story was, but the issue is that the journos need a stand. They need a stance, and they need to take it early. Yes. And they picked the fucking wrong stance. So they picked the players' side against the NRL in saying that, oh my God, the NRL has mismanaged finance, and basically went close without saying it to saying that the NRL had embezzled money.
Yeah, and why they take they were always going to take the players' side, and the reason is because a very common position for people in Australia right now is they've been stood down, or they've had reduced hours, or they've been laid off their job because the job shut its doors or whatever. So these fucking bigwigs, we need to go against these bigwigs that are fucking laying people off, blah 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 blah. And I mean, in this scenario, the players are the employees, so that's the one that relates to the common man.
Yeah, so the common man finds it hard to fucking identify with the 20-something earning $200,000 a year to play a game.
Yeah. That's the story. They find it super easy to identify with them because they're the victims of the bigwigs at Phillip Street.
Yeah, but what I'm more concerned with is that they came out and they were, we agree with the players here that the NRL is fucked up and they've taken all their money and this and it's mismanagement and it's absolutely reprehensible and they should be forced to stand for account. Looking over it, and the best and only sensible article I've seen, I'm not saying there aren't others out there, was Roy Marsden.
And it comes from the least sensible person in the media in the past 20 fucking years or however long. I mean,
yeah,
watch him on that Silvertails versus Fibros documentary, and he's just the most punchable fucking retard you've ever seen in your life.
But
having said that,
all he
he's
says,
the only one that's come out of this one that's
you know, the fact that he's just come out and he said, hang on. How the fuck can any player or agency, and probably more importantly the fucking agency, that RLPA, how can they be upset with the financials and how can they be demanding access to them because the NRL makes them public every fucking year? Every fucking year they release their financials.
like every fucking corporation.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's not as if this is a surprise. And then you get other people who come along, like fucking Kent, poor fuckhead Kent. He's sitting there talking about how, that their finances are dishonest, and that the NRL was going around saying that, oh, look, we made 30 million. And then it's, well, hang on, there's all of this other money that should be in the player's retirement account. So really, the 30 million you said you've made, you haven't actually made that. Well, no, fuckhead. Yes, they have made that 30 million. And they do have that 30 million sitting in the bank, because that money that everyone's bitching about that should go into what's called the Players' Retirement Fund is payable at the end of the current television rights deal, which is 2022. And so that means that there is no measure where anyone could look at it and say that the NRL needs to have that money now. It shouldn't be in an account that the association can access. It shouldn't be somewhere that they can check if it's there, because they're not entitled to that money until the end of the current broadcasting deal. So for fucking Kent, it's like any other fucking company, no one would make any profit at all if they had to say, well, hang on, we've made this profit, but we've got this loan that we have to pay back. Yeah. So we're not actually going to call that profit a profit, because we've got this loan that we have to pay off over 3 years. So that money needs to come out. If businesses are confident that they can meet that fucking future obligation by their current activities, that's how fucking businesses operate, you mental fucking midget. Like, seriously, it just beggars fucking belief.
Well, what it shows is that, you know, that sports journalists, and I feel, I would like to give some people like Kent the benefit of the doubt and say he's not that fucking stupid. I feel like, but which is probably worse, because I feel like because then he's doing it deliberately. He's being intellectually dishonest deliberately.
Correct.
To push an agenda either of his own or his employers.
That's it.
And if that's the case, I think that's probably worse than being stupid, to be honest. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's a fucking tiring situation, and I hope we don't have to talk about it again after this week. But I have a feeling that we will be. Some other things that came up through the week. Volandis has confirmed that there's a 3-game grand final series as one of the possible options that they're being considered for the calendar. Basically, because if they can do like a grand final the idea is to treat it like, I guess, like almost like Origin. Like they can do one of them in Sydney, then one in Brisbane, then one in Townsville, or somewhere else. And I don't know. I mean, look, at the end of the day, more footy is always great, but a 3-game grand final series, I think, is fucking stupid. If I have to come out there and just say it, I just I love the idea. I love the idea that they are trying to come up with these ideas that are potentially, high revenue generating to, claw back some of what's been lost this year, and that kind. I get it. And I like the fact that they're thinking of these things and trying to come up with some out of the box kind of ideas that we haven't seen before, implemented in the game. But this fucking multiple grand final thing, it just fucking drives me crazy. And I mean, I'm not like this super ultra traditionalist or anything either, but
yeah,
here we are.
It's it's interesting. I looked around and I couldn't find another contact sport.
Yeah,
with that, and there's plenty of other examples where there are multiple game series. You've got baseball and
basketball
and basketball.
But baseball in particular, is also a sport where the most strenuously active positions on the field are highly rotated as well.
Correct.
Like in baseball's case, I'm talking about pitchers. I mean, they're the guys that are doing the most prolonged athletic exertion in a game of baseball, and you'll have a starter and one or more relievers, and the starter won't start consecutive games.
Mm.
He might only start 3 of a 7-game series if it goes to 7. And basketball as well. Basketball is also an extremely rotated sport. I mean, not as much as baseball in terms of the pitchers, where guys won't play games in final series.
Mm.
But it's still
again, they're just completely fucking different beasts. What I have come to realise, though, and again, this is only from being involved a little bit more in the NBA in the off season, is that when I thought about this 3-game series, that was the first thing that came to mind. Is the fucking level of bitching that would bring up.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Let's say, I'll give you something easy to imagine. Let's say Manly makes the final series.
Yep.
I'll give you something also that's easy to imagine. Let's say Tommy goes down injured.
That's slanderous, but yes, continue your story.
Well, Arnott's award him fucking Biscuit of the Year, for the next 20 years, just preemptively.
I find that offensive in a sport and a sporting league that includes the likes of Matt Moylan and Josh Dugan, sir. However, continue.
Yeah, you know what? It's like your Paul Kent comment. At least Dugan owns what he is. At least he's not being intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, but I feel like Matt Moylan is. Anyway, continue. Okay, so Manly make the grand final, which is likely.
It's a 3-game series, and then all of a sudden, Tommy goes down, snaps an ACL in the last 10 minutes of game 1, which Manly win by 10 points.
Yep.
Then they get done in game 2 and 3.
Yep.
You'd think first of all that forever Manly, fucking this, and if only Tommy hadn't, da 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 da. There's a bunch of basketball examples of that, of final series, where it's, this player did this, or what if this didn't happen, or this guy got suspended, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they just cop it. So
I don't know. Some of these LeBron versus Golden State narratives are pretty fucking ongoing for eternity. Yeah,
but not in the way not in the way I at least would imagine rugby league fans would take it.
Yeah.
It's almost this whole, almost gentlemanly, yeah, okay, yep, you got us, but I tell you what, if so-and-so had been fit, it would have been a different story, we had you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not that level of fucking, this is the worst thing to ever happen to me. But, look, this year, if you're ever going to trial something, put it this way, this year's the year to do it.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a year that no matter how it happens,
yep,
people can make themselves feel better.
That's it. There's an asterisk.
By saying, but 2020, asterisk year, wasn't even a full competition and it had that whack fucking...
That's it.
3-game grand final series.
Yep. That's it. If each team has to release fucking, 8 schoolgirls and then they have to tackle the Bulldogs player before he can fuck them, to score a bonus point after a try, that's the new conversion. Fucking yeah, do it this year.
Yeah, and then that brings us to the other idea. They're thinking as well that whole weekend, the wildcard weekend that was initially sort of flashed up towards the end of last year, that's back on the agenda as well, because once again, that gives them an opportunity to get more revenue and more games. And just a reminder of how that was purported to work, you'd have the top 6 teams that go straight through to the semis or to the final series, and then you'd have a weekend where you'd have the 7th place side playing the 10th place side, and 8 and 9 playing to determine who the final 2 spots in the 8 are.
Yeah.
And just fucking crazy. And then I saw another thing, and I don't have the notes in front of me, so I don't know how it actually went down. But there was also talk of literally something that's been a part of this show for its entire history, of fucking Hyperbole or Spoonerpalooza.
Yes.
With a wooden spoon playoff. Now, do you think they'd be bitching about that scenario in in a 3-game grand final series. Can you fucking imagine if this spoon bowl thing was like a bottom 4 competition or something, or round robin, or even the bottom 2? If any team loses it and becomes the team that gets the spoon that wasn't 16th going into that little competition, you would never hear the fucking end of it.
That is fucking sensational.
I tell you, what an incentive to be, in the top 14, 12, whatever it is that doesn't qualify for that thing. But
exactly.
And look, and I'm always there, especially on a season like this season where we've been starved of action. I'm always a fan of like more football, definitely. But think about
the other thing. What would that mean for the Dogs, who start to fucking play great football when they know they can't make the finals? Do they do that and avoid Spoonerpalooza, like avoid winning Spoonerpalooza?
Or the thing is, you don't want to win. It's like, that's the thing. It's a round robin that you don't want to win.
No, well, if you come last, you get the spoon.
Yeah.
So if you win Spoonerpalooza, you avoid the spoon.
But is there a prize for winning the bottom 2 or bottom 4, whatever the knockout cup is, or whatever the cup is?
Not getting the spoon.
Yeah, but that's not a prize. That's an absence of punishment.
Yeah, well, you're talking like a normal fucking person. My entire premise is I wonder what it does to a Dogs player.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. They'd probably just go and fuck a school kid.
Yes, that's it. Well, you make sure that they're playing, in New South, or send them to fucking South Australia as Schoolies is on.
Yeah.
Hold the game in Adelaide while Schoolies is on. That's the least sexual state in Australia.
Or send it down to play it in Tasmania, because they're all worried. If you're not related, you're not,
That's it.
You're not an option.
Yeah. That's it.
Exactly.
Although Harawira and Nara's got 2 families to choose from.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the article as well on the list of demands that the RLPA has of Peter Rugby League?
No. Enlighten me.
So again, this is, and I will preface this with something you said just before we hit record. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everybody that the Rugby League Players Association is headed by a man who chose to stop fucking Miss fucking Universe.
Yep.
So Clint Newton decided to dump Jen Hawkins. To just absolutely say, no, I do not want to put my penis in you anymore. I understand that you did that with consent, and did a whole bunch of other things with me with consent, but I choose to not do that anymore, Miss Universe. So this is the level of fucking intellect we're dealing with.
The level of judgment.
Now,
when you're in.
Does anyone remember the scene in fucking Austin Powers where Dr. Evil asks for $1 million? And like everyone's just shocked that he's asked for so little, and they're like, is this guy serious? Really? Fucking, if it's possible to have a negotiation boner, Volandis fucking had one in this. Because we'll go through the list of these demands that this hardcore fucking Players Association put on them. So number 1, the NRL is transparent over what money it retains after giving cash to clubs. Peter's response: totally agree with him. Let's say again that the NRL already publishes its financials every fucking year. The only thing they could do that would make it easier for the players to see is to email them the link to these financials once they post them. That's all I can imagine that he can agree to be more transparent.
Yeah. And this is the thing that, like, with annual reports, I mean, when I was in PR and everything, we used to have to, it was one of the bigger earning periods of the year was the PR people writing the annual reports and the design department putting them together into the documents that look beautiful for the shareholders.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and then for me on the digital side, when the annual report was ready and a certain date was reached, I had to make sure they were up there by midday on that day or whatever because it's a fucking legal obligation.
Exactly.
To have it fucking up there.
Exactly.
Downloadable from a clickable link on their fucking website.
So already, the Rugby League Players Association and the man that chose to not fuck Jen Hawkins anymore, their demand, they're in there fucking, they're ready to negotiate. The first demand, the answer is, well, we actually already tell everyone in the world that.
Yep.
I know what you're asking, and yes, I'll tell you, but we already tell fucking everyone, including you. The demand number 2 was the ability to audit the NRL finances. Pete's response to that was, absolutely, I welcome it. Because again, if you have...
up there in black and fucking...
Well, if you have reporting obligations, then generally at that level, you're dealing with one of the big 4 firms anyway who audit you independently. It's not like the NRL's going, oh, this is what we think. This is what we think we've got in our bank account. They're independently fucking audited anyway.
Yep.
Point 3. NRL guarantee to repay the 2018 and 2019 retirement funds. He said, that's agreed, but it's the timing of that repayment with the available cash that we have. So let's be clear here. They're not repaying it. It was never taken. It was owed to them at the end of 2022 and hasn't been paid yet. So nothing's changed there. And all he's saying is, yep, when we've got that money, we'll pay that. We originally planned to have it in 2022. Players get a minimum of 29.5% of any extra revenues made by the NRL. He says, yep, agreed. So that's on top of what they've currently got,
yep.
Which is in line with what they currently get.
Yes.
From revenues. The forthcoming years of every current player contract is guaranteed. He says, I'll have to double check that one, but I don't think there's a problem with that. That's fantastic speak for saying, I just need to get legal to tell me that I can't do that.
Yep.
But I really want to.
Yeah. Believe me when I say.
Yeah. That's a fantastic answer. 6, any changes to salary cap and pay for 2021 or after are agreed upon by the RLPA. He says that one again is a negotiable point. So what he's saying is that fuck you.
Go fuck yourself, but not just yet. I want you to go away thinking there's a chance.
So here fucking Newton's in there. He's negotiating hard here, and let's be clear. The only victory he's had so far is, yes, you can see our financials. We already give them to everyone on the planet who wants to see them. Point 7, clubs continue to pay private medical insurance. Pete's response, yes, agreed. Bear in mind, he's not a club, and he can't fucking tell the clubs what to do, so he's just going, yeah, I agree, that should definitely happen. Those clubs should do that. Again, agreement of representative fees for 2020. That one we probably can't agree at this point because there's been no fucking representative football. Jesus Christ. The RLPA wants direct involvement in talks with broadcasters and over how the schedule and structure of the NRL looks. And he said agreed. We want them at the table. And what that means is we're basically going to let them think that they're important and come to the meetings, and then after we've had the meeting with them there, we'll organise everything afterwards.
We have the big meeting where we actually make the decisions.
That's it. And the last one is the RLPA wants involvement in talks about other revenue streams the game can look at. So again, we don't want to be a proactive partner of the game and bring ideas to the table. We don't have any ideas already. It's not that we've been looking at the safety and security of the players' futures by brainstorming any ideas for additional revenue that the game could look at. We have nothing to give you now. But if you find anything, we want you to tell us about it, and we want to have an opinion on that. So there's master fucking negotiator Clint Newton working hard for that RLPA organisation. How much comes out of how much do the players pay to be a member of that organisation? Do they pay any dues, I wonder?
Well, I mean,
where does he get his fucking money from?
Yeah.
You know? And the fact that the fucking players aren't now going at their fucking association with lines like, how the fuck do our yearly payments not get paid to us till the end of a fucking rights deal? You know? Do you not understand anything about fucking payments in that if we have that money in 2018, we can do that thing that everyone's bitching that the NRL should have done to invest.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be a fucking investment fund. That's the nature of it.
It's meant to be essentially a player super fund, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, again, you know, I have no fucking sympathy for that organisation or for these shithead players that try to use it as any sort of fucking leverage. Like, congratulations, you played yourself. Dumb cunts.
There's like an hour on the absolute shitstorm. I would love them to sign off this deal in the next fucking 7 days. What an absolutely fucking useless organisation the RLPA is. Okay, now, last weekend, over a couple of late nights, I went through and tried to figure out this Rugby League Live 4, and just the best, like just the most viewable, like most entertaining way to actually run out some of these matches, whether we go like, you know, straight simulation or, you know, whatever. And I've basically figured out a difficulty level and a time, like a length of halves and everything like that, which yields like a reasonable, you know, a lot of the time, a reasonable encounter. And so the official NRL results for the week just gone, on Thursday night, the Dragons 8 defeated the Raiders 0. Friday night, the first game, the Mighty Manly Seagulls 14 defeated the Warriors 6 in what was a fucking cracker of a game. The problem with these downloaded fucking teams is that I didn't check them before. Like, you know, you go into a game and you don't check them. So the first half, I'm like, fucking, I'm down 6-0 against the Warriors, and Tuivasa-Sheck is just like fucking untouchable, and I'm just like, why the fuck isn't the ball getting out to the players, the Manly players that I want the ball to get out to? And then I have, at half time, I go and even have a look at the team, and like Toff Sipley's in the centres, and fucking cunts are all over the fucking place. Like, I think the hooker was fucking, who was the hooker? It was like some fucking bench prop. I can't remember who it was. No, it wasn't. It was fucking Jetski. It was Goshevsky. He was the hooker. I was like, fuck this. So then you change all the players into the right positions, and in the second half it was, you know, it was a tight game. It was 6-6, and then I got coat hangered about 10 minutes before full time. Someone got coat hangered, and so Cherry Evans slotted a penalty from about 45 metres out, because I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to get a try here. I may as well go for the 2. Got it. And then off the kickoff, Tommy Turbo went length of the field and scored to wrap it up. But the Rabbits beat the Roosters. I can't remember what the score was. I didn't take a screenshot of that game. Knights versus the Sharks. 18-12 win to the Knights. And let me tell you, this is the first game where I started to see things happening that were parallel to real life. Like, the Knights were certain to fucking score. There was a gaping hole, so I passed it to fucking Ponga, and he gets tackled about 5 metres out and drops it. The next set, Ponga fucking throws an intercept for a try to the Cronulla. and then eventually they clawed the way back into the game, and we're up 18-6, and then Fafita scored late to make it 18-12, but it was a comfortable win to the Knights in the end. The Storm 12 defeated the Panthers 6. I've got to say, both of those sides were very fucking struggly. Like, Munster's great for the Storm, and it's just hard to get it out to guys like a Fox and to actually get anything done. Cleary's actually a pretty good player on the Panthers side in the game, though they've jacked his stats up for some reason, but he just didn't really seem to pass it to kick out that much, so it was unlucky for them. But their try was from a kick too, though. So
can you not select who you passed to?
Yeah, oh, you can, but I mean, it's just that he never chose to pass it to Kickout. There was never. I mean, and you know what? I didn't go in and check the team lineup. Kickout was probably the fucking
fullback.
He was probably the bench fucking. He was probably on the wing, or he was on the bench, or he wasn't in the fucking 17 or something. I don't know.
Yep.
But so what my big job is over the next couple of days is to go through and make sure the starting lineups for these teams is what they should be, because once you get into a game situation, it's just too fucking, tedious to go through and change everything around. And of course, if you go into a game situation, sometimes the actual real players that would be in a side this year, they're not in the 17, so you can't sub them in anyway. So, Cowboys 18 to feed the Eels 6. That was just dominant from start to finish. Eels got fucking nothing. Cowboys don't either, but once again, the fucking Cowboys, I was down 6-0 at halftime. What the fuck's going on? Where the fuck is Taumalola? I keep passing to 13 and it's some other cunt and he's not doing shit. and then they showed like the animation of the players walking off for half time, like walking off to the sheds. And I saw one of them like going, that is fucking Taumalolo's face if I've ever seen it. He must be there somewhere. So I go into the team and have a look. He's fucking fullback. And so I swap him into lock for the second half, and then I can actually get him the ball. And guess what? Taumalolo's Taumalolo. He just trample everybody. He trampled Moses so many times, and fucking Gutherson so many times. It was great. And then so I scored my first try immediately after the halftime break, and it's time to line up the conversion. I scored out right in the corner. Time to line up the conversion. Who's taking the conversion? Number 1 for the fucking Cowboys, Jason Taumalolo. So anyway, he kicked 3 from 3, slotted 2 from the sideline. Man of the match, Jason Taumalolo in that
Fantastic.
And the last game was the Titans versus the Broncos. A gripping encounter that the Titans won 2-0. Golden point extra time. The Titans are fucking terrible. Ash Taylor's like okay sometimes. Ryan James actually, he's got a bit of the Taumalolos about him as well. But as far as like running over the top of players, Milford's good for the Broncos. But and who else is good for fucking? Oh, what's his name? Flegler was fucking great as well for the Broncos. He would trample a few guys as well. But it got to 0-0, got the golden point extra time. I was using the Titans, got the ball off the kickoff, made a break with Ash Taylor. He got coat hanging about 40 meters out. And so I'm like, fuck it. It was like 40 meters out right in front, so I'll take a shot at goal. Got it. So it was a 2-0 win in extra time in golden point to the Titans. So congratulations, Titans, and unlucky Broncos. So what the plan is for these games going forward is I'll probably play what would have been the Thursday, Friday, Saturday games. Sorry, Thursday, Friday games at the very least. I'll play them on Friday night from about, let's say, 9 o'clock Queensland time, so 10 o'clock New South Wales or whatever until daylight savings sorts of shit.
Yep.
Or is daylight saving sorts of? It's April now. Is daylight saving? When's that fucking?
Doesn't it finish next week?
Yeah. Okay. So it'll be easier for you guys then. But I'll try and do it like I'll try and be on Twitch on twitch.tv/ This Week in League at 9 p.m. Queensland time, and I'll run through the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, and the 2 Friday games, and they'll be I think I'm running on 9 or 10 minute halves at the moment, so it's like 20 minutes a game. So I'll run through those, and we shall see how we go.
Nice.
What I do need input from the community on, however, is how we decide what the if I'm using a team, how do we decide which team I use? Do I use the home team? Do I flip a coin to pick a team? Do I, etc. So if anyone can come up with a good idea about,
flip a coin.
Yeah. So I mean, the 2 options I could think of was flip a coin or use the home team, and then that's like some kind of, in quotes, home side advantage. But let me tell you, it's not always an advantage with me using the team either. There was some fucking painful learning experiences and almost every one of those games I was behind, because once they make a break, there's pretty much no second line of defense. It's fucking, and especially someone like Tuivasa-Sheck, the step he has in the game is 10 times better than the step he has in real life, which is a fucking great step in real life. Let's be honest.
Or is it not like 20? When did he fucking? Was he good at the Roosters? Was it 2014 or 15?
Yeah, it's like that on his best day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've just that's the player map they had for him, so that's where he is.
Yeah, but remember also that his step in real life, the players actually have a chance to tackle him. They just can't.
Yes,
Whereas
true.
in this game, he puts a step on, and your controls literally freeze your player in motion wherever he is. So anyway, that's where we're going to do it. Let us know if you're interested. Let us know how you want the teams to be selected for for me to use or whatever, and and we'll go from there, and we'll get this thing fucking nutted out. But if someone wants to do the NRL table for me based on those games and scorelines, let me know. Mailbag. Okay, so last week, Robert was the one who put a comment on the website asking about who the other person other than Luke Lewis was that Cronulla bought from the Panthers in order to win a premiership, and he received pretty short shrift from the both of us for failing to remember one Wade Graham, and so he responded. He said, "Well, you got me, you cunt." I realised after I hit send, Wade was pulled out of high school at 17 to play in first grade Panthers. Not my best moment, but still, that was a ridiculous statement. We all know what they did to Luke Lewis. So I don't know what he means by that. Does he mean what the Panthers did to Luke Lewis, or does he mean what the Sharks did?
Now,
either way, I mean the Sharks got him an extra piece of jewelry. So
yes, I'm gonna take it on here that it's quite obvious there that by that he means that the Sharks got Luke Lewis a premiership, whereas I will fucking remind you, you brain dead window licker, that Luke Lewis also won a premiership as one of the two Lukes playing in the outside backs for Penrith in 2003.
The Blue Bloods, as Gus
That's
said.
Now, on the slight chance that you were saying that Penrith did something bad to Luke, we actually saved his career, and it's well documented that Luke wanted to retire. He'd had a challenging little while in the club and going through periods of unrest. He'd had some crystal hypnosis with Matt Elliott that had caused him to believe that he was a good coach. There was the issue with Petro Civoniceva telling all the players that they were worth more than they were. But what actually happened was he was going to retire, and it was Gus that saved him. He was going to retire, and Gus convinced him to not give the game away, but said, you need another club. You've played here since your fucking junior days. You've never even envisioned playing anywhere else. So don't give the game up. You still love the game, and the game's got a lot to give you. Go and do it somewhere else. And we were actually mature enough to support Luke as he finished his career in style with an absolute shit cunt racist organisation, being that of the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks.
Okay. So yeah, we look forward to part 3 next week. Terry on Facebook said, the greatest one season wonder at your club.
Oh.
For starters, I want that to be homework for everybody, because I think it's a great fucking question. And I mean, I think it's easy for Terry because he's a Bulldog supporter, and like they had, the Ewan McGrady season, they had the God Mode Ben Barber season, like one hit wonders or one season wonders, and Canterbury go together like fucking Dr. Pepper and Trout.
I was going to say fucking what's his name from Cronulla? Oh jeez, I can't even think of his fucking name. Their prop, the shit cunt. Fafita. Like Fafita and mates.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Now, so do you mean that they had one season only, and it was great, or they had one great season and a bunch of shit?
One great season, but the way I read it was they had multiple seasons at the club potentially, but one that was like a God mode season, and the rest was. It's tough, isn't it?
It is. The one that comes to mind first is Tamana Tahu. Because
he had a God mode season.
It's not that he had a God mode season, but we got him on his comeback, and he had some fucking fantastic games because he was still an absolute beast of a fucking player when he came back. But he got injured a lot.
Yeah.
And there was also that time in his career where he was just like, well, if I don't like the way this matchup's going, I'm just going to try and punch you in the face and and stop you from being able to play at all. So some fucking brain snaps in him. But that's the one that comes to mind initially. That's a fucking great question, though. I'll put that out on the Facebook group for next week.
Yeah, I want to put it out there for the group. I want to put it out there on Twitter. Put it out there for everybody. But it's a fucking tough. It's like it is a tough fucking question to answer. Honestly, I'm struggling to think of one for me. I mean, I can think of seasons that people had for Manly, and then they never saw that kind of level again. Like for example, I don't know, like Tony Williams in like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
But even then, like it wasn't he wasn't like a dominant or anything. He just never had a season before or after to that level, I mean, fuck, even Will Hopewade, for all his accolades, he's never had a season like 2011 either. So I don't know. But it's a great fucking question, and we're very, very interested in hearing what everyone has to say about it. Sky, Twitch session times. There you go. At this stage, Friday 9 p.m, and we'll see if I do another one, maybe a Sunday night or something as well, just to finish off the games. Troy said he wants us to talk about the true national tragedy of shapes disappearing from shelves. Before I saw that message, I didn't know that was the case. I assume is it just a hoarding situation or what?
I remember seeing them today.
Yeah. So basically it's not a national tragedy at all, and he's just trying to manufacture drama like Paul Kent. Mitch said, only if you can narrow them down, the top 5 reasons why the 2016 grand final was the greatest of all time. Firstly, I have to be honest and say it fucking wasn't, but I'm not going to say it as vehemently as I ordinarily would say it, because although the 2016 grand final was not the greatest of all time, I had a fucking great time. It was
fucking good, wasn't it?
At that grand final, and that was one of the greatest that was one of the greatest grand final weekends that we've had. I mean, because that was the weekend where I got RSA'd at El Loco because I was fucking so blind by like 2:00.
You got to ride that Tesla.
I got to ride in the Tesla, and then when I was totally partied out by the time the grand final was over, but then caught a second wind and went to fucking Phil's place, and old mate had the fucking snake, and then we ended up kicking on to about like fucking 4 a.m. when we had a flight at about 9.
Yeah, that was unwise.
So it was an excellent so it was an excellent grand final weekend. And met a couple of people for the first time that weekend as well, which is great. And and so the game itself.
So that grand final did not have 2 things that an amazing grand final requires. There are only 2 things that an amazing grand final requires.
Manly
one
victory,
of them is Scott Sattler's tackle, and the second one is Royce Simmons scoring no tries for an entire fucking career, and then two of them.
Chris said, beside missing out on the Yeary of Cleary, what are the things you guys are missing most during the lockdown? Honestly, look,
as much as we take the piss and laugh about it, the thing that keeps me fucking grounded and coming back every year to rugby league is the fact that these guys are out there just absolutely ripping their bodies to shreds and still getting up and going. Like, I don't think there's any way to express it to somebody that hasn't done it. But again, to use a stupid example, whatever you do for a living, whatever that is, just go and run 2 laps around a football field, or go and run fucking just the length of a football field as fast as you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then try and do anything. Try and do fucking basic arithmetic at the end of it. Your brain doesn't fucking work like it does when you're sitting down. And every game, there's dozens of examples of guys just going above and beyond what their body should be able to do, just on pure fucking determination. And that's what I miss about footy.
Yeah, what are you missing most during lockdown, though? It's not necessarily about footy, I don't think. I don't know. I think it might be in general. The way I took it was like more of a general question.
Oh, Tinder.
fucking random and interesting women. Honestly, just the basic freedom of fucking movement is really all I miss. I mean, I've worked from home and have done since like about this time in 2012. So working from home is not a novelty for me. It's not a treat. It's just how it's been for almost a decade.
Yes.
So but however, the things that I haven't been able to do because of the lockdown is, the kids aren't at school, so I'm not doing the school run, which means on the way home from school I can't do like, a 5K or 10K run where I feel like in the sunshine, down by the seaside, down at the beach. Yep. And that's shit like that. And I mean, I guess to an extent you sort of still can, but I'm trying to fucking set an example here and do the right thing and
look,
not be part of the problem. And
I'd been about 4 weeks back into like daily gym sessions when they fucking shut the things. So I'm missing that. Yeah, and it's just that simple stuff of those ad hoc catch ups. So, but
yeah, because that's the one thing. I mean, you asked that question again in September or October, and I'm going to tell you, fucking Magic Weekend.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be the first weekend in May for me to know that the one of the things I'm missing most is Magic fucking Weekend. Like, we just know that's the case. I mean, and which has become like Magic Weekend. If it wasn't for these, fucking, cunt eating a bat. I mean, Magic Weekend had the potential this year to be as good, if not better, than the grand final.
Yeah,
weekend.
That's it.
And so to essentially be able to double up the massive weekends that we have around the show's community each year was huge. And so that's something that I'm definitely going to miss and am missing. Already. But yeah, that's about it, I think. Nathan said, why the fuck aren't Channel 9 playing NRL replays on their usual Friday night and Sunday Arvo slots? We should be gorging on the greatest finals matches, Origin series, and second half comebacks in history of the game. How hard is it, numbnuts? I'm there for it.
Yeah.
Even if they wanted to just do one Friday night game, like, throw it in like the 8 p.m. slot. And then a Sunday Arvo at 4 or, whatever, or 3. I'm all there for it. And then, like, they've got the back catalogue for it.
That's my question. So I would be very interested to see what Channel 9's broadcast deal is. Does that mean that they only have current games? Or do they get access to all the games? If so, do they get... Well, they wouldn't want to get games that they didn't show because then Channel 9 would be airing Fox commentary with Fox logos all over it. So on the surface, it sounds like a great idea.
They have people employed in there are people employed at Channel 9. They could redo the commentary, if they wanted to.
Channel 9, we'll do it for you.
And I know there is potentially a rights issue, but at the same time, the game wants to get paid by Channel 9. And I think that if it was just the rights issue standing in the way, then I think people would be prepared for the sake of the viewing public and for the sake of perhaps, trying to go through in some part to fulfilling their obligations to the broadcast
But what I'm
partner.
saying is it's more than likely one of two things. No one's thought of it, or they're trying to do it, and there's just that much legal shit going back and forth at the moment. This shit takes time.
Worst case scenario, though, Channel 9 have a vast catalogue of Sunday and Friday and Origin games that they've aired over the years. Even if you remove, you want to take out the
but again, Fox, do we know that they have rights to those? Just because they air
no. I'm just speaking. Yeah, no, I'm just speaking to like you were saying that there are games that would have Fox commentary and stuff like that. That's fine. Remove them from the equation. And honestly, I don't think that if it was a legitimate idea that people wanted, I don't think that rights deals would get in the way of it. They'd find a way to make it happen. Renault says Jay wasted the Yuri of Cleary on this bullshit. Fucking Corona Veery.
Well, the Yuri is not endeared, so he can still.
Yeah, no, it's not endearing. It hasn't endearing.
He can still resurreri to make me cheery.
This is basically it's just like talk like a frittata.
No, it's I'm basically
or talk like a really racist caricature of an Asian person.
I'm basically the Australian Snoop Dogg. Because I keep a Chocky Soldier's flag hanging out my backside, only on the left side, because that's the Yuri of Cleary side.
You fucking you chose well electing to do this episode out of my fucking arm's reach right now, because I swear to God. Oh fuck. Jordan says actually, no, sorry, Super Grover. Based on this season's form, who makes Origin?
Cleary.
Stupid question. Turbo would be fullback over Teddy.
Nah.
That's
over the course of it, and just with that thing of having your best thing on the field, given that in one game Turbo had a couple of moments that he was better than Teddy, you would
head to head against him.
Yeah, but you would still then prefer to say, well, hang on, Teddy's not as useful out wide.
Yeah, I mean, like basically, it's hard to get into the character to answer this question in the way it was asked, because you know what, if you did have a two game sample size to work on who makes Origin this year, you know who you'd pick, right? Exactly the same fucking team you did last year.
Yeah,
that's what pending injuries. That's that's what you would do. I mean, and like a 2 game sample size is hardly much to overturn those guys, unfortunately. Jordan said, who's the best halfback in NRL history, and why is your answer JT? And to that I would say, dummy, Jason Taumalolo is a lock. What are you fucking talking about? Are you stupid?
I will go so far as to say that JT was a good player, and however it was his effort that kept him where he was. Is he top 5?
Fuck, you know how I am with.
I know. Well, no, but just not in terms of a list. I'm just saying, is he top 5? Like when you talk about.
Well, no, throw some other ones. Obviously, Jones.
So you say he's not better than Johns. He's not better than Alfie.
And who else do you put in the mix? People like, Cooper Cronk, who's probably in the mix. Then you've got like, Greg Alexander.
JT.
You've got, your Jeff Tuvies. You've got your Ricky Stewarts. You've got, I mean, there's fucking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Yeah.
Peter Sterling. I mean, there's like a lot of.
That's right. So based on this, JT's probably top 10.
I think he's probably undoubtedly top 10. I would say, but
also good at raping.
Well, he's like the. I guess
and he halfbacks like more than he rapes.
He's like the Kaiser Soze of it, because it's like, before you don't even know he's raped. He's like, you'll never see him again, unless you're looking.
Oh, I thought you meant that he walks like a frittata after he rapes someone.
He limps away. Zoran says, "Are we certain that someone ate the bat and wasn't bitten by a bat? How do we know it wasn't another attempt by the bats to wipe us out?"
What's all this assumed bat to human animosity?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if Chinese people had been eating the bats, I mean, you don't think that would upset the bats?
Yeah, but then someone would have eaten the bat, and his point's redundant.
Yeah, what if he was like the Rambo of bats,
bat,
or the John Wick of bats? And it's like Batayaga or whatever. and he's like the John Wick of bats, and he's seen his whole family of bats get eaten by Chinese people, and so he's like, I'm going to bite one, and then that's why the death toll as of right now for coronavirus worldwide happens to match up exactly to the death toll of the 3 combined John Wick movies.
Okay.
Fucking science.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that it can't eat a bat, hey?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Wars.
Well, look, and now you see this thing, all this fucking dodgy bat eater. The masks are coming in, and they're not real masks. Like they're made out of fucking Kleenex or something and disintegrate when you breathe on them.
Oh my god! Now you're starting to sound like a right wing Facebook commentator.
All I'm saying is, fucking Huawei doesn't sponsor this podcast. If I can say
true.
shit like that.
Yeah, that's right. But Huawei, if you do want us to stop saying shit like that, we gladly will. Just show us the kid.
We'll also show you where the prime agricultural land is. So, go on.
And the forward points where you can dam up all of our tributaries and major waterways. Okay. On Twitter, we had one golfer in a cart. He said, "Question for us: what team do you think Joe Exotic would support? I'm not sure the inevitable 9th place finish for the Tigers is quite up to Joe's liking. Panthers maybe. Hashtag Tiger King. Hashtag Stay Home. Hashtag Mars Bar." I have to say, JC, unfortunately, I have not watched a single minute of the Tiger King documentary. Look, I do intend to watch it at some stage, but I certainly have not been captured by the hype and the mad trampling to go and see it, or to watch it. There's other shit to watch. Ozark season 3. Watch that instead.
Go strong.
Value your time.
Strong, powerful. Because you've got Ozark.
Just because you've got extra time to do shit, don't squander it.
Yes. I won't even give that much of a fucking positive response. I have no intention to watch that fucking shit show. That's peak. That's one step away from fucking Kardashians, right? So if you watch that, you are watching fucking trash reality American TV. The cunt's called Tiger King. Of course you would support the Tigers. Watching that show has made you fucking more stupid to ask a question like that. Stop it.
Okay, where are we? And I'd just like to say welcome to at MattWill1982 on Twitter, who tweeted us just after the last episode was released and said, "One day I was bored, so I searched NRL in Apple Podcasts. I saw TWIL and downloaded the most recent episode, Muppet Babies. I laughed and I subscribed. I came for the footy. I've stayed for story time. Now coronavirus has fucked it. I'm staying."
Good shit.
Legend. And thoughts and prayers go out to at the boys. Of course. What did he win the TWIL Tourist last year?
Yes, he did.
I can't remember.
He did.
Yeah, he did. TWIL Tourist, yeah. That feeling when you hit play on This Week in League, it's not working, and then you realise it's playing on the Bluetooth speaker in the lounge room. In lockdown too. Thoughts and prayers. Okay, now memberships. This is the last call. I have been in touch with the various suppliers to make all the bits and pieces that are going into the memberships and some of the additional merch that we're releasing this year. And let me tell you, I was surprised how fucking smoothly everything's gone, and everything's pretty much ready to go in terms of we've achieved all the numbers we need to achieve for all the pieces to sell things like hats and whatnot. So basically everything will be close the business on Thursday, the 2nd of April. So you're listening to the show. This show's coming out in the early hours of Thursday morning. You've got until the close.
Why don't you leave till Friday just for the stragglers?
Yeah, but I mean the stragglers, it was kind of left to last Friday, and then people came straggling, and then I had to wait for some emails to come back from suppliers, so they didn't get back to me till Wednesday. And even during that time, there was still some more coming in, and then some more came in today, which was great because I sort of put the word out that this was it.
Fair enough. Stragglers, I tried, but fuck you.
Ideally, I want to pay. I'm going to have the invoices in my inbox for all of the production from the various suppliers on first thing Friday, and I want to pay it and get it moving. Yep. Because in keeping in mind that my credo for this year is kind of rather than waiting for people to do it, just say more to reward the people who've already jumped on quickly and get it done. So what this means is after 5 p.m. tomorrow, you won't be able to get the classic membership. You won't be able to get the deluxe membership. The digital membership is going to be ongoing, forever. I mean, get on there anytime you like, and we'd be glad to have you. The trustless shirt that ends tomorrow afternoon. The polo shirt in white and black that ends tomorrow. Polo shirt's never coming back in this configuration. I've got an idea for another one later in the year, but I'll probably leave it till the fucking bat flu's done because
here's the thing.
We don't.
I'm going to say it again. If you have not got one of those fucking Trust Us shirts, if you have not, now it will be the biggest fucking tragedy in the world if you are corona affected and you can't get one. We understand, but if you're not corona affected and you willingly miss out on this shirt, may fucking God have mercy on what little you have left of a soul. Seriously, Kanye will look at this and be like, these guys are motherfucking geniuses. They are forward-thinking fashion icons, and then he'll make some shit sneakers and give them to us, and we'll say, fuck you, Kanye, we only wear Nikes because we know our fucking kick game's strong.
Yes. What he said. And I even got an email back from the t-shirt guy, and normally it's just straight. We've been using them for years and years and years, so it's a very cordial relationship. But generally, it's just okay, this is what it's going to be, and I can do you this price for this and this price for that. But this time he actually was like, how fucking cool is that design on that shirt? And so I was like, I knew what we had already. I knew as soon as I saw it on the screen in front of me, and then I took a screenshot and texted it to stepdad. I knew what we had.
There's time for humility, and it's not now.
No, it's not now. Fuck no. Now the caps are all going off on Thursday afternoon as well. The people who ordered curved brim caps, congratulations, you established utter dominance over the flat brim. I know there was a talk about the flat brim versus curved in the Facebook group, and there was a poll and all this sort of thing, and it was kind of very evenly poised. But let me tell you, when it comes to sticking the hand in the pocket, curved brim are the master race of hats, and flat brims just have to fucking deal with it. They're the West Tigers of hats. They found a way to finish 9th in a 2-horse race. So so caps are gone, polos are gone, all the memberships except for the digital one's gone. And anything else that's up on the site will basically be a matter of until stock runs out of them, and there's probably going to be a couple of polo shirts of different sizes that we got left with last year from people who wanted one and then backed out. So they'll remain up on the site and everything like that. So there are some chances for some bigger people to grab some shirts, but other than that, it's all gone. And then, and after that, I mean, we've got a lot of merch ideas for this year, but given the whole Corona thing and just the financial situation, shit like that, we'll probably hold off until probably the second half of the year, and just give this shit a chance to fucking die down and everyone to get back to a sense of normality.
Do you read that fucking thing? You don't have to pay rent anymore. Stop paying rent. Buy shirts.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
when you put it like that.
Well, look, it's not as if I ever chose to not fuck Jen Hawkins, so you can trust my financial advice.
Yeah, true.
If given the opportunity, I would fuck Jen Hawkins. So you know that my advice is sensible there.
It's sincere.
Asterisk, don't fucking do that.
Yeah. But also, I just want to express the appreciation for the members we have and the listeners who support the show in whatever way they do. And because it's shaping up to be a cunt of a year for a lot of people, but we really appreciate the support. It means more, honestly, because,
that's it.
It's okay. That's it. That's it for episode 344. Thanks for listening. As always, you can interact with us on Twitter. So follow at TWI League. We're also on Facebook.com/This Week in League. And also our group is Facebook.com/groups/TWIL Nation. Get in there. It's fucking great. It's a great community. Great threads in there this week that I really enjoyed. I guess enjoyed is not the right word, but it does the heart good to see, people, putting the problems that they're facing with the corona and all that sort of thing into the group, and and just sharing with people, and other people jumping in. And
do you know what I did fucking love there? Like, we started off the show with saying how fucking trash Australians are, but there was not one fucking judgment in there. There was support. There was a range of different fucking positions. There were people in there that fucking had the virus. There were people in there that were stuck in other countries. There were people there that had lost their job, might lose their job, were being fucking supremely overworked by their job. But the one fucking common thing seemed to be that, well, shit, I'm not as bad as some, or, I don't know what I can do, but this is what I'm good at, and if that helps anyone, hit me up. So it's a fucking outstanding group of people. Well done, all you.
Exactly. Now, where was I? Apple Podcasts, of course, easy to support the show. Just give us a rating and a review if you haven't already. That would be great. Spotify, we're on Spotify now, so if that's your chosen, if you're one of the people who are sort of bugging us and asking when we're going to be on there, we're on there now. Just do a search for This Week in League, or hit up on Twitter or our site or whatever, and there'll be a link straight there for you. This week in the Apple Podcast charts, we entered the charts at number 2 for Hong Kong this week. We also we moved up in the USA. We moved up
hang on,
19 places.
I think that's got to be they're searching for something else, because I know that if you say Kin League, that means can I have a bat to eat?
We moved up 19 places in Great Britain, so finally our English listeners are on the ball over there, and we moved up on the all-time charts in rugby in England as well, and moved up in Canada. We're fucking worldwide. Misters worldwide.
World star. Good shit.
World star. That's it. That is all we got for this week. Hopefully, we can get a deal sorted out, definitively between the NRL and the players this week, and that way next week we can not rail about the stupid fucking journalists, particularly the News Limited ones, and they're talking down of the game in a time where it needs it least. But that's it for this.
And next week, homework.
And, Yes, homework. I forgot all
about it.
So
next week, we will be giving our fucking valid cinematic opinions on everything to do with the movie Any Given Sunday. So that's our sports movie that we're going to watch and critique. So if you would like to have some fucking idea about what we're saying, watch Any Given Sunday during the week. Feel free to whack your thoughts in on Twitter or on the Facebook group.
Yep.
But there's your homework, first of all, for this lockdown 2020.
Sounds good. And when I put up the thread in the Facebook group for the mailbag for episode 345, hold your comments back and dump them in that thread, and we can share them with everyone next week when we speak about the movie. Nice. Righto, that is it for this week. Take care, stay inside, don't eat a fucking bat. See you next week.